Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blue Protocol. Today I'm going into a guide on how to go from a fresh character all the way to the end dungeon, or just over 10,000 ability score. In the game, you're basically limited to activities based off of your gear score when queuing with randoms. If you have a party, your gear score can actually used to be able to be whatever it is, but that's not the case anymore. You do have minimums for your gear scores. This right here is the ability score minimum, and this is the ability score minimum on in your character. There is basically 5 now things that attribute to your gear score. The module opens up soon, so this is just a bonus on the video that you're watching right now. The talents are the first thing. These materials are what you're going to need to upgrade the skills. These are the talents themselves. For the first tree, you have to max out the first tree regardless, so don't worry about a build on the first tree itself, but make sure that you know what you're doing and why you're doing it when you're playing that build. And then the skill tree right here is what I currently have for Frost Mage. I will get more tokens and then add into this, but this is not a Frost Mage guide. Then the next one is skill training. For skill training, you will need books. These are your skills. Currently, I am not even level 60, so the higher ability score is really easy to achieve. All you have to be is level 60, and then each skill that you're using are the skills that attribute to your score. I'm not using Blizzard, so I'm not going to level up Blizzard. If you find that you need to reset, you just need one of these keys, which you can buy from the cash shop for a 200 bound orb price tag, which is actually not that bad at all to reset your stuff, considering you can get 200 unbound orbs daily with enough effort. This level right here, each time you level up an ability with stat bonuses, but that ability needs to be equipped for those stat bonuses to be taken. Here you can see the tiers. The tier 5 will increase your score much higher than a tier 1 to 2 tier increase. So really find out the most damage skill that you have, or where the majority of your damage comes from, and actually max out that to tier 5. It costs too much to go to tier 6 in my opinion, even when you can do it, which is in 4 days from this video. And then just put in your skill books evenly distributed from the skills that you have equipped, your ability score increase. The ability score itself is based off of all of the stats added together. The next one is gear. This is probably the most annoying score to increase, but there is some tips and tricks that you can use to get this to the max. The first thing that you're actually going to want to do is finish the storyline. There is 2 things you really have to worry about as far as the storyline goes. You have the main quest. Just do all the main quests until it says stay tuned. That's the most important. Then you will get a quest called New Talents, New Trials. What this does is this unlocks the capability for you to increase and get more talent points. Talent points are going to be this little thing up here. Right now, I think there is 66 of them that you can get, but that's beside the point. Each node costs points, so you need to be able to max out your capabilities. So however many of these you can get, you should get. It will tell you to go talk to Herona, and then when you do that, she will tell you to go fight 50 goblins. There are a ton of parts to this quest, and yes, you must do them all. This is actually the most important, and in my opinion, only important side quest to do, other than the Ocean Platinum card. The Ocean Platinum card gives you access to your house, which will be in another video. Outside of the Ocean Platinum card and the main quest and the talent tree quest, there is actually no real reason to do the side quests other than the crafting ones, because these actually give you crafting XP, which takes forever to level up your crafting. So if you want more XP for your crafting, go ahead and do them all. It's definitely worth doing, which life skills will be in another video. Once you finish the storyline, there's going to be gear. You'll find the gear guy over here. This will be the first gear guy that you'll want to talk to. It's going to be at the gear store itself. He's the one with barely any visitors in front of him. You want to go to level 40 gear exchange. Any piece of gear that you don't have, this is what you're going to focus on first. You'll need alloy shards. These alloy shards will let you get your first set of level 40 gear That way you can meet minimum gear requirements for the dungeon. After you get what you need to get to meet the minimum level requirements for the dungeon, which you can find several sources of alloy shards. The first one is going to be maybe in the mystery store. They might be here. There's usually some in the honor coin shop. But once you pick out some pieces of gear and pick them, the highest ones that will net you the biggest returns are the weapon, and then the pieces of armor in that order, and then jewelry gives you the least amount of stats. The last thing you'll want to pick up from the store or from the trading center, it does not matter. In the orb store, you should be able to pick up cheer up treats. It'll let you purchase 10 of these. You don't have to buy all 10, but you do have to buy a couple at least. And if you don't want to spend your unbound orbs, although if you're starting a new fresh character, you'll have a ton to burn, but kind of save them because they don't just give you unbound orbs like they do whenever you start the game. These are going to be very quintessential to your time efficiency of leveling up. Every time you take one, what it does is it gives you the next dungeon clear. It makes that dungeon clear count as 3 more dungeon clears. So you're going to want to go to the Goblin Lair first. This is the first one. And you're going to try to get an ability score of 3,880 minimum, which if you completed the main mission storyline, leveled up your talent tree as much as possible, and gotten all your talent points, this is a very easy score to get. There is first clear rewards with these, so you definitely, on the first clear rewards, you'll get a box. That box will give you one of 2 items. You want to use and get the item that is giving you the least amount of stats. That way you get the most amount of stat return on your next investment. So if you already have a legendary gauntlets, or your gauntlets are very good for your class, you're going to want to get the legendary earrings because you'll get a bigger stat return in your stat listings, because your gauntlets are already kind of good. And then whenever you get that and you do the cheer of treat rewards, you will have cleared this dungeon more than you have cleared the dungeon with your first clear reward. Then you'll go into your gear and you'll equip that piece of gear. And then you want to spend 1 reforged stone set at first. Reforging is going to be another quintessential part to get your gear score up. Maxim lets you do multiple things with your gear. We'll go into gear reforge at first. There's this yellow bar. You want to level up the perfection to the max eventually, but at first you just want to level it up 1 time, because before you reforge it, there is a locked asset. The first time you reforge, you will unlock the asset, giving you an extra stat. This stat will increase your gear score and able to let you do the content itself. And then the more times you reforge it, the more times it gives you base increases to the stat. You can see here a fully reforged gauntlet gives you 90 intellect, and the one that doesn't gives you 65 intellect. These are massive stat increases whenever you're talking about every piece of gear reforged to the max. Once again, reforged stones can be grinded out in the dungeon. There is a weekly limit to the reforged stones that you get from the Unit X research facility dungeons. Outside of that limit, the only way to get them is with the store or hunting in the wild. There can sometimes be some in the mystery store and in the honor coin store as well. Whenever you're doing the honor store, the most important part, if you're leveling it up the first time, get the alloy shards first, because you'll get honor coins doing the dungeons and working on your life skills and doing all of that stuff. The alloy shards will allow you to get the gear that you need from the reforged guy, so that you don't have to go out in the wild and farm. It eats up a lot of time doing that. Then get the reforged stones, because you'll need them, and the skill books and the arcane seals. Don't worry about anything else until later. And then you essentially want to take this process and repeat the process. Then the next mission will be Tina's Mind Realm, which you have to be gear score 5,970. This gear score is higher than the other gear score, and you essentially try to just work yourself up to the next dungeon so that you can get the legendary materials. Make sure that the first clear that you do, you activate your cheer up treat. When you do this, you don't have to run the dungeon a second time usually. Sometimes you'll have to run it a second time, but if you just spend your cheer up treats, you barely have to do any of these dungeons. And the faster though that you can do it, faster you'll get to be able to be playing with your friends. Now, don't just waste all of these, because later you'll really want them for the master dungeons, but the master dungeons are in 4 days from this video, so you kind of want to get the master dungeons first. Alternatively, you can also get more of them if you just spend your Bound Luna, which I have a guide in how to make Bound Luna. I'll be going over that more as the markets change. If you really just want to save them, you can, but you just have to run the dungeons way more times. You're going to have to clear each one of these dungeons and kind of grind the loot out if you do that, and you'll have to basically be doing 20 dungeon runs, which will take quite a while. But you can skip all of that with the cheer up treats. But save some for master for sure. You can get 10 cheer up treats from the shop per week, so it's not really that huge of a deal, because on the next reset you'll get 10 more cheer up treats. It's where you get like stuck at a gear score and you just want to get a little bit more. Whenever this happens, you just come back here, and this little arrow up thing is a recommendation to level up. So the gear score is telling me that because there's a little bit of space right here on my Dominion felt cap that I can go reforge if I want more score into the gear score itself. Look for that little up arrows, and that's really kind of what you should be working on. Whenever you're doing the last dungeons inside of the dungeons, your scores should look similar to this. If you see something here that differs by like 1,000, then you should focus on that first, because it's the easiest one to get up. When you're leveling up your skills, you really just focus on the ones that are equipped. That's the most important part, because if I go and I level up Meteor Storm, it will not increase my stats, but I will spend the Luno to do so. Stores. The stores are your friends here. There's a couple stores. First, in the Season Hub, make sure that you're going to the Reclaim Hub. The Reclaim Hub is actually everything that you didn't do last week. So if you're starting a new character right now, you might be able to claim a lot of the stuff that you weren't able to do when you could have started your character last week. And there are alloy shards in here, and reforged stones, and skill books, and arcane seals. You'll be able to get a lot of these tokens, these reclaim tokens, and you'll be able to clear a lot of the stuff that you could have used that you just did not get. It will help you out in the long run. The trading center, this is sort of the open market. You put stuff in here to sell, and I have killed the die game for myself, no doubtedly, but it is what it is. Whenever you really need skill books, these are kind of expensive, so if you're a free-to-play player, I would avoid these unless you really, really need them. The store has a lot of shops. All of the stuff that you'll be able to purchase for your level up venture or your character in general will be here. Careful of the mystery store. They sneak in these little unbound orb purchases right here. This is real money. This is game money. So just be very careful of that little bound symbol that's right here, and make sure you're not wasting your resources. The full store has 4 shops. This uses orbs, both bound and unbound. This uses friendship coins. You can do a lot of this. Your total friendship, which is done activities with your friends as well. Then there is the honor coin. The honor coin you can get from a myriad of activities. This is just the game giving you another resource to spend. And then the reputation. The reputation stuff is exorbitantly pricey, and you get a lot of reputation from the Crusade boss, which you'll be able to do with a higher gear score. Or at least you won't find yourself struggling immensely. This is real money, unbound ore. The Meow store, this is an aesthetic shop. It's essentially a gacha nightmare for me. The Wish store, this store is another gacha shop. It gives you the tickets that you need to purchase at the Meow store. You can find the rewards here, just to let you know anything that you end up getting through a bound coin purchase will come out as a bound item, which means you cannot trade it in the shop. The next store that's going to help you is the Seabreeze store. This store sells items like skill books for your advancement, level 60 stones, which come out in a week, The engram dust crystals, which will let you craft legendary items from your life skills if the game just doesn't want to give you a legendary and you want a legendary. And make sure you go into your handbook and you claim all of the activities. Go into the manual and claim these. These will give you a lot of unbound orbs and a lot of unbound Luno for your advancement. The features will tell you the events in the game. These are not a reward function. This just tells you what you can go do for rewards. Kanamiya tribe, friendship points. There is a lady called Anna at the trial path. This will give you more of your talent points. It is very important that you go here and you do these so that you can get the talent points for your trees. Not only will it give you points, but it will also let you actually access the capabilities that your class can do. There's an attack, a guardian one, a support one. If you switch characters, you will actually not get another rewards bracket or more talent points. If you clear any trial path to level 3, you will be rewarded with talent points. This plus this does not equal level 6. If you want to AFK, there is an AFK function in the game that lets you fight AFK, and a lot of people go to the hunt boss and just leave their character there overnight and try to farm materials and unbound Luno and the drops like XP and money that AFK farming actually does. There's a lot of different AFK farms in the game, which is another video. If you do all that, by the time you get to the end dungeon, you should be around 10,000. The end dungeon is 10,900 and some change, which if you're level 60, a note on side quests, you can do the side quests if you really want to. However, every side quest in the game done doesn't equal the EXP of one daily activity from the season hub. Go into the season hub and make sure that you're lighting these fires. These fires are points, so at 500 of these points right here, you get all of the daily rewards. You can do any of these activities, but honestly, I find it easier just to consume focus. Focus is a life skill that you unlock at level 20. Once you unlock the life skills, you will just use this focus bar up here in any of these, and then if you just consume 1,000 focus, you'll get to the max of that daily. You get 400 focus a day, and if you start a character right now, you'll actually get 2,000 focus because the focus meter maxes out at 2,000, and you get 400 a day, whether you're in the game or not. Focus is a tool to use at your disposal so that you can either make stuff to use on your journey. For instance, alchemy has advancements in focus. You can boost your stats. However, you can use this focus to sell on the market, which I have a video on that. I'm cashing in my money right now, finally, which is 50,000, 59,000. And then you can use this Luno to go in and purchase the last bit that will increase your stats, which I will go over, which is gems on your character are not really important, but it is like a capstone. And this early into the game, these gems actually will attribute about 500 to 1,000 ability score on your character. For instance, if I'm a mage, I'm going to want intellect. It depends on the class that you're playing and what it is, but this early, it doesn't really matter as long as you get the stats on your character and you can actually get this ability score up. Right now, this little icon right here tells me that I have a gem slotted into that item. So I don't not only have a legendary weapon, but I don't have a gem in there. I only have a gem in my helmet, my chest piece, and my arms. So I'm missing over 200 gear score by not having all these gems slotted. If you can get there without the gems, you can get there without the gems and then just save your mats for later. If you can't, you can't. The last thing on the gear is something called refining. Refining, it doesn't matter what level you're refining it at right now, at least. If I go from level 1 to 2, I get 5. If I go from level 3 to 4, I get 5. So whenever you are refining, which costs these materials down here. The game will kind of give them to you, kind of not, but just evenly distribute your refining levels because it's exponentially costs more the more levels that you go up. So just spend the materials that you have to evenly distribute your refinement level. I'm only at level 3. I don't know what the max is right now. It's going to change anyway by the time you watch the video. And then if you do all of that, yes, you can refine it. Refining does not refine the weapon or the armor. It refines the slot. Here I'm refining my helmet slot. I can go in and remove the helmet itself, and the level attribute is still there. So don't be afraid to refine these at any level. That is, in fact, the best way to get up to gear score currently in the game so that you can play with your friends or not feel left behind or catch up to the current time gate as much as possible. There's a lot more Blue Protocol content coming out. I do a lot of stuff on Twitch. If you're interested, the link is in the description. You'll have a sick day and peace out.